to another exciting episode of the Be Different KE podcast, and I'm so excited. I have a long-time classmate and friend, Soko. I won't give introductions of his designations. I'll leave him to do it for himself. Hatujaonana siku nyingi.
Sana.
Welcome, Sam.
Miaka.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so happy you came.
I am here.
Nimekuwa nikitafuta Sam, guys, for the last 1 year plus.
Aye.
1 year. Sawa, Sam, introduce.
Hi, I'm Sam. I am a filmmaker. Yeah, a lover of life. That's who I am.
Well, Sam, I remember I was doing you were doing creative arts.
That's what they called it.
Yeah. I was doing some of your courses.
Yeah.
And I remember Sam as our solutions. You were the one providing solutions for everything. I remember you for editing.
Yeah.
I remember you for music.
Which is
that networking thing. Sam was our DJ, Sam was our editor. The one who was shooting. Almost everything. So when could be given projects, but there tukwanga na easy vitu. Zinaitwaje?
Hey.
Cameras and all.
Yeah, we studied a course they bundled creative arts, but with nothing. Like I think the first camera we experienced was when Mish bought the camcorder. I think, and we were like in third year or fourth year already, and yeah, as in it was. I'd say there's a way you can look at that point in time and be like, we were so disadvantaged to do anything. But then there's also a way you can look at that point in our lives and be like, we had the opportunity to do anything and everything.
Imagine.
We were basically left to run
by ourselves
and figure things out. And I think I personally thrive in such situations. So yeah, so when I think about that, sometimes I'm like, wow, life sucked. And then there's points where I think about that, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of helpful for me as well.
And we managed.
Somehow.
And we graduated.
Somehow.
Anyway, please go ahead, tell the story,
Somehow.
Sam.
No.
Tell the story. Like, how did you end up? The next time I see Sam, Softy the film has hit, and I'm like, wow, Sam really made it. Like, how did you even do that?
Grace of God.
Okay, how do you survive in this Nairobi? Start from somewhere.
So we finished school, and like again, our technical capability wasn't that good.
Of course.
But the thing I at least spent a lot of time doing was theater, was plays, and I got a chance to intern and eventually became a production manager at the Phoenix Players. It's now defunct, doesn't exist, but it used to be the only place, they'll call it a repertory theater, which is essentially the only place you would go any point in the week and they have a play taking place. So we had like a schedule throughout the year. And that means we were just, working with a lot of actors, actresses, directors, whom are more or less a lot of the people who are in the industry right now and working in the industry right now. But at the time, everybody was, pretty young, trying to make it through. And in that moment, I did, I think I was there for close to 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Wow.
And then there was a period of what to do next, where where do you go from here? That's the point where you reevaluate your full breadth of career choices. Do you go into teaching? What do you do? Then at the same time, I had a friend who was working on this project, and they were struggling to edit it, more or less. And someone was like, hey, I know this guy, and he kind of works with story, and he might help us figure this out.
Okay.
And so that's actually my first interaction with documentary.
Okay.
And this was in around 2010, 2011. And it was like, hey, I got to see what they were doing, and it did not make any sense. And I was like, just move this, let's do this. And it worked, and from there they were like, hey, we have this other project we also need help with.
Okay.
So it's like one project became another project. And I think in that moment you start to be like, oh, I'm enjoying this. I actually like this. Perhaps we can do this. And in that moment also there's like 3 other friends that we kind of came together, and we were like, oh, maybe we can actually formalize this and create a company. And that's how we started Lightbox Limited, aka LBX Africa.
Yes.
And we were honestly, we were just like, we want to make our stuff, we want to enjoy this, we want to like tell stories like never before. Being young is nice.
Yeah.
We were so excited to do it. And very quickly we realized you also need money to survive. Nairobi is rough. And we kind of had to find a way to balance. And around that time is we found a home, like a place to incubate at Power 254. And that's around the time also like Boniface was like really picking up as an activist. And we just started like, hey, okay, what if we do like a short video that would kind of be used like as activism manuals? And what began as something that I was probably going to be involved in to do for maybe 2 weeks, max 3 weeks, ended up being a 7-year project.
Yeah.
Yes, that became.
Yeah,
Yes.
I watched, because when I watched that, it was one of those things that I had to watch. You know, when it was, when the marketing, when it came out, I had to go and watch it. And as I was sitting there and watching it, I'm like, this is years of following someone, going everywhere they're going, their family, their what. Where is that patience coming from? And the money.
I think I'm naturally very patient. Like, I am naturally very patient. I keen to give space and let things happen. And I think that's why I find myself very comfortable in what we call like a creative documentary space. So creative documentaries are kind of, a lot of the time, are films told over time. In different styles and ways, and you know, they take you, the ones that everyone is like record time is like 3 years.
Wow.
But you know, people go 10, 15 sometimes, and you need that because it's essentially story. They're genuine slices of life, and the idea is being present to see how moments change human beings, change situations. For example, Kenyans do the same thing every year before, every 1-2 years before an election. We have done the same thing forever. Like, but even if someone tells you,
Are you saying you don't have faith in us?
No, it's like, even if someone tells you, you're like, no, this time was different. This is true change. You know, this is gonna be true change.
Yeah.
But then, the beauty of documentary is I can be like, you see, this was you in 2010. This is you in 2014. This is you in 2018. Look, again, 2021.
Yeah.
And you're saying the same thing over and over again, but you're just changing the color. And when people watch that, they're like, okay. okay, it's different. And they can sit with it and they can, you know, think about it. And that's about it. Like, it's not, in a sense, like to preach and be like, you know, you can, no. It's more of, it does both things. It gives you reflection. It gives you knowledge. It gives you entertainment. It does all those things. It's such a beautiful thing.
What were you doing about money? When, money especially this forming.
Money is also a journey. It's like, so in the world of filmmaking, there's different ways you can get support. And support from, like, say, it took me, you said 7 years. So the year 3, 4, I owed people so much money.
I can imagine.
It was ridiculous. But honestly, the thing that helped is a lot of the people I was working with kind of understood that this is a bigger thing.
Was that the only thing you were doing when you wake up?
No,
8?
you can't. You have to see. You used to do a bunch of like NGO gigs. You go shoot a boat here, a cow here. See if maize grew or not.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like, you kind of have to figure that out. And people have done different things. There are people who shot weddings. There are people who, because the idea is to remain consistency. The idea is to always have progress. I think for the challenge for most people is you kind of stop. And so you almost never have progress. You kind of, when you stop, you come back where you are. And then you do again, then you stop. Then you come back where you are. The idea, the need to stay disciplined, consistent, all that is hard. It's very hard.
So what was determining, like, what was supposed to be a 2 short weeks turned into years? What was determining the length? So the 3rd year, what was pushing it to the 4th year?
It's, the simple way to put it is the story. That's like the most simple way.
It's like you guys never knew when to stop.
You think you know, and then something happens, and that something leads into something else. Because you always have a hypothesis. There's something you're working with. You're like, okay, I am filming. So say there's a film we released, I think, a year. There's another film called Free Money. And Free Money is filmed over 5-6 years. And when it started, it was and it's actually following an experiment that's 12 years. Okay. That's ending in 2030. Okay. So you can choose to be like, let me film till 2030.
The 12 years.
Or you could be like, let me film till the halfway point, and we see how it's going, and then perhaps I will continue. You know. But you need to kind of think about it from a larger picture, rather than think about it as, wow, next year is going to be 2025. And next year, it's in a way, it's like, what does this story look like in the following year, in the year after? Like, best case scenario, how does it come out? Yeah.
So in terms of course, you said you're patient. You said you had, is it 2 or 3 people collaborate and decided, you know, we are doing this. So in terms of falling off, who, you know, someone, people are like, yeah, where's Sam?
But
that's how, I'm going.
Because there's also life, you know.
So now you're 2.
So now we're 2. The company is bigger right now.
I can imagine.
We're doing a lot more projects. Like, we were one of the co-producing partners for Watu Wote, which is an Oscar-nominated short. We have Softy, we have Free Money, we have No Simple Way Home. Like, we have so many things that we've made, and there's so many things that are coming out, like, in this moment. And we're working with filmmakers now, not only in Kenya, but in like different African countries. We have we just pitched a project where we're co-producing with Jordanian filmmakers. So it's in a sense, it's still growing and building. But now with a lot more different types of stories, not only in documentary, but also in fiction.
But before it opened up, before all these people started seeing you for what you're doing, who you are, what was that season like? What was the season before you were like,
there's no season like that.
There's no like that.
There's
no exhaling. Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, I don't know how to say. There's, because of, again, it's maybe dream, maybe ambition, maybe ideas. There's, the setup probably always feels the hardest.
Okay.
Because you're kind of working in the dark. Because the level of questioning you have for yourself is ridiculous. It's like, am I even making sense?
Exactly.
And for a lot of people, that manifests itself in kind of like you're asking everyone for their opinion. To be like, what do you think? What do you think? But yali niambia si, so acha nirudi. So you una move left, right, left, right, left, right. So it's very confusing because you're trying to find your voice. And I think that's probably the most difficult part, is finding your voice. And then giving that voice power and energy and keep manifesting and feeding and growing that voice. And I think that's the way I'd put it to be. That's a difficult point. And once you're like, okay, I've done this, I can do this, then you're like, I've always wanted to do this, then it is just ridiculous. You're like, am I wasting my time now? Or, wow, this was a good dance.
Niachie hapa sasa.
This is fine.
The most difficult people, in my opinion, to prove to that you have something going are your parents.
Aye.
Tell me about that.
Parents, extended family, relatives, friends. That, because even now, there's people whom you're like, how long does it take you to make this? And then they're like, 5 years. There's a film we're releasing, hopefully early next year, and it's taken 6 years. Wow. And I remember the first time I talked to the filmmaker about it. And right now, it's unreal that it's taken that long. Okay. And when you tell someone that, they're like, no. And a question they talk about a lot that they get is every year when they go home, if it's Christmas or whatever, they ask, they're like, hey, so what are you doing? They're like, yeah, I'm still making that film. And they're like, bado? Iyo true? Okay. You know, I have a friend who has anaweza kutafutia kazi hapa.
Kuna kupigia huyu mtu akupe kazi.
It's insane in a way if you think about it. And honestly, for me, my parents, when they came for the premiere, they couldn't talk after.
I can imagine.
Like, they couldn't. I remember actually my mom was just like, hey, this is good, this is nice. And it was like as low tone as you can get. And then she called me when now they're going home. She's like, wait, I have slept on it. I will say I didn't even sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what you are doing.
Imagine.
I was like, yes, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I think it, in a sense, gave them release. Because for most parents, what they want is the best for their kids. And they do that in the way they think best. But that doesn't mean, as we all know, that their way is the way. But what they're trying to, the reason is what's important. Is they want you to be secure, they want you to be safe, they want you to be happy. That's it. So if they see you happy, if they see you, you know, all those things, it gives them so much peace. Yeah. So honestly, now my parents are like my biggest fans. I think nobody shares the stuff I do more on Facebook than my mom. It's like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, yote ako hapo. My mom is on Instagram and she doesn't even know how it works. It's because my brothers told her that's where she would
where
see
you
the things we do.
Yeah.
So it's that, and
Yeah.
that makes me happy. Even for my extended family to be
Yeah.
like, okay, and I think it even in the extended space gave more permission for people who wanted to be in the arts or be in media and that kind of thing, that this is a possible path and it makes sense.
When you were coming to school, did you know that that's what you wanted to do?
No.
Had you figured
I actually came to school to do IS.
Oh, yeah. IS is information
Information
science.
That's what I went to school to do. And then on the that week we have for changing, I was like, because I'd done like a diploma in information systems, and I saw the curriculum for like year 1 and year 2, and I was like, half these things I'm going to repeat, and I don't feel like repeating. And then I checked, there was like this course down there called Creative Arts that only had ilikuwa imeandikwa 20. And I was like, wacha nifanye hii to mark time kidogo as we figure out life. Yeah, and that's how I ended up here.
That's how you ended up here. But I feel like, even as we are saying, you're the only one who, 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
But I see people are doing, really well. If you were, like you were in 5 in class, right? Yeah. But as much as you're the one who followed the straight and narrow path, and I don't know whether you ever used some of those lessons in terms of, what was it called? That thing where you improvise. A lot of improvising, a lot of just figuring out.
Because the thing is the reality of how our school was the reality of outside. It's our reality.
By the way, outside,
it's not,
yeah.
I think spending so much time thinking of the ideal is, that's the thing I was saying, is like people spend so much time on like, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. Clearly, everything doesn't work. Okay, so are we going to do this or not? See, that's kind of the question. And when you choose, this is what we're going to do it, how do we make it work? It is a very difficult thing. That's the truth. Because your heart will be broken 10,000 times. You'll shoot and it won't come out the way you thought it will come out.
I can imagine.
You will invest, there is so much you will do, and it won't be the way it is. But my thinking of like the idea of progress and growth, because that's how you learn. Because if I do this, and even the people I started to work with when with the first film, the people ended up working with the second film, third film, and they're probably ahead of the game right now, continentally, not even like in the Kenyan space. Yeah, Nile, like, I feel sometimes they work with me because tumetoka mbali, but the people who like you call right now and they're like, yeah, maybe tunaweza ongea June next year, and you're like, wow, as in that's happening.
I like how you understand that, especially that thing, the concept of time, because of course, you know how we work right now with the instant everything, pop, and even just now, as I said, I looked for you for a whole year. I see what that means to you, and I see now what that means to me. Because you're like, just a year. But me, I'm like, wow.
If you tell me that, I'm like, okay, this time makes sense. It's just 6 months from now.
Your concept of time and my concept of time is completely different. Now that is sinking right now. Because if you work on projects for over 6 years, 7 years, and me, I want a pop thing.
You want this to come out now.
See you
tomorrow to operate on the same. And the thing is, there is space for the pop for that content. There's the idea for that. There's the need for that. There's there's people who want that, but then there's also the space for things that need time, things that need patience, things that need you to think.
Have you ever wanted to give up?
Always. Last week. Last week.
Come on,
Last week we've been editing this thing for over a year, and it's still not working. And at some point, you're like, now what are we doing? Is it time for us to be like, aya tumeshindwa? But then the team kind of is aligned on that level, and like, we have to figure this out. So you go, you leave, you go take a walk, run, do whatever, come back
again and
we need to
try
go
again.
We need to go again. And you go again until we fix it. And once you fix it, it's like a whole weight is lifted, and you're like, yes, I knew it. But you didn't know.
No.
You did not know.
No, you did not know. It's
and
just
then,
that car.
And I'll be here now.
That
Now I'm so chill. I'm like, we can do this.
If you are to get someone here,
Yeah.
0, and someone who wants to join you, they're pretty green. I'm sure there are some of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you normally tell like a newbie. I want to hear them, because of course those are like, you know, those lessons that stick with you, and you're like, this one I will tell everyone. So ukipata newbie hapa sai, and they would want to join you, what are the, let's say, top 5, 3 to 5 things that you would tell them?
Okay, I would list, but okay, let me see. One, it's work. Like, it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not. There's the thing about like filmmaking, what a lot of the public experiences is maybe the premiere, the pictures.
As we see the end.
Where it's like, wow,
Sam.
fun.
You're receiving awards. You're like, whoa, Sam made it.
Let me tell you, the filmmakers in that period, they're like, what time are we going to sleep? Like, you're like, okay, inaisha sangapi? 9. Walisema 9. And you're there still.
You're so tired.
Because it's hard work. So you need to just settle with that. Just know, if you choose the path, it's work.
Okay.
And you probably have to work harder than your peers, the people you Google, read, the people you are following on the social medias, and being like, oh, I saw this person in the UK, because our industries are different and expectations are different. And like the thing you were saying, for when we were in Campo, we had nothing, but we still tried to do something. You get?
We had output.
And that's the genesis. It's like, we couldn't stop. We had to keep, you know, I remember me and Fanto going, Fanto went to buy costumes. Then we were trying to fix an non-existent store so that we could put our plays. And no one was like, there was no initiative or support to do that. It was like, we have to do this, because we want to just try and do something dope and decent. And it's the same thing. It doesn't change. It's the same ethics, same push, same all that stuff. So it's work. The next thing I would say is progress. Don't get stuck in the same spot. And don't deviate. You know, it's easier to, you're like, okay, what am I working on? I'm working on this script. I'm working on this story. I'm working on this thing that I'm trying to do. I need to make it work. How do I do it? For many people are like, hii imenishinda, wacha nijaribu hii sasa. Then imenishinda, wacha nijaribu hii. You are 3, 4, 5 years in, you have 10 projects, all of them in the same place. So, progress. So, one, why is it stuck? Actually spend the time to question why it's stuck. Maybe you need to do more research. Maybe you need to spend more time on something, maybe it is something genuinely that needs you to add 5 years, and then you will write it better. So, and it's okay, but have that knowledge. Kind of figure that out. Progress, because every single person I have worked with, engaged with, all that, loves progress.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that is connected to the third one, which is finish. You must finish. It's not a choice.
Okay.
Good, bad, great, you must finish.
No matter what.
Because without finishing, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You have to finish. And that's not a choice I give myself. That's not a choice I give filmmakers I work with. Everyone that we, even in our organization, it's like a key drive of like, we must finish. And we embrace everything that we make. So there's things that we make that everybody will be like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. But there's things that we make, people will be like, what? How? Both of these things we learn from. And we keep growing, we keep building from it. So you must finish. And lastly is team. Collaborate. Work with people. You need people. Sadly, filmmaking is one of those things that is a team sport.
Okay.
You're only as good as the people you're working with. I can be like, wow, I know how to edit so well. But if the DP, whoever, does shoddy work, I'm screwed. So it's a team thing. So it's relationships.
Yeah.
So just be a decent human being.
And live with people.
Yes. And just, people are different. People are coming, and they all have different ambitions and what they want to achieve. Work to achieve these things together. Like it's not about me winning or getting XXX. It's about this team getting to where they want to get. What they want to achieve. Because if our goals align, I almost think it's impossible that we'll make something bad.
Wow.
Yes.
In the matrix of, you said DP, editing, so who are you and what do you do exactly, or you do everything?
So I say I wouldn't shoot to save my life.
Oh, okay.
I can shoot when I have to shoot.
Okay.
But hey, I think I overthink it.
Okay.
As in, shooting is not mine. That's not mine. I'd say I produce, direct, and edit. That's kind of what I am doing now. Editing is pretty straightforward. Directing is a bit more complex, depending on what you're working on. Producing is probably kind of the mothership of everything. So it's you picking projects or getting projects and, in a sense, harnessing them till they're made to the end. And then you distribute them, do all that stuff, yeah.
So, Kenyan landscape, do you have, for lack of a better word, let me call them competitors or other organizations doing the same things you do?
So I tend not to see them as competitors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
see
lack
them
of a
as
better
all
word.
Collaborators.
Yeah.
Because we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to make content. We're all trying to tell stories. That's all we're trying to do. And I tend to see that if the people who make this type of content are actually meeting a need, then we're succeeding. Okay. If the thing is when we don't, or when we take too long, when we are like, we do this and then it's like 3-4 years before we see something else, 3-4 years before. So we need everyone to do stuff because we need to build. It's important for us to build our audiences and build our market. I think we've kind of let that go to other markets. So people, do consume other content from other places, which is okay. And they do consume local content, but not at the same level.
True.
And it's important for us to, it's not like we shouldn't threaten them to watch our content, like we shouldn't be like, Kenyans don't watch, no, it's not the case. It's they want to. But let's just make stuff that they'd want to watch.
Okay, I like that.
So
the collaborators are there.
Yes,
But you guys are not as many. Or I'm the one who doesn't know?
It's still not a massive industry, but it's more thriving than most African countries, I would say.
All right.
Arguably, if you maybe remove North Africa, we are maybe, if we're doing we're in the top 5. All right. If you say that, yeah.
That's really
like Kenya's pretty, it's grown. It's not only grown because the infiltration of like internet and stuff is pretty high. So content consumption is high, so people do make a lot of content. And you include the people who do like social media stuff for social media, like influencers, all these people. A lot of content is being made. That's the truth. Yeah.
Okay. I was just focusing on the documentary.
Yeah. No, it's all documentary.
I'm not focusing on all the creators because, of course, there are many.
No, but I'm saying we are all trying to do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like
create
we are all
for Kenyans
yeah,
to
because
watch.
if you're going to documentary, we're not many. We're like a handful in many ways. Okay. But we're not. When I started, we were not even a handful. We were not. There's probably more people in this room right now than there were documentary filmmakers at the point where we're starting out. But now there's so many. There's like a generational pool. You know, you have new people. There's the other people that you know. Which is pretty cool, but we all. Because the thing with documentary is it harnesses from all the other spaces.
Okay.
Yes.
I hear you. How does this then translate to your life outside of work? Do you have it?
Eh?
Do you have life
Does
outside
anybody... What?
Do you then have a life?
I do. I think I do. Maybe, perhaps. I'm better at it now, maybe. Now, you know, with family and everything, you kind of have to find a way to balance. So, for instance, you know, doing essential travel. Okay. Not just... Because there's periods when we started out, a lot of the time when we're doing, like, trying to balance the NGO work and this other stuff, you know, you'd be like, you're filming in 10 counties. You know, when are you sleeping? And then you finish, and they're like, you know, the delivery is on this day where we even have a launch. So that is booked. People are coming, so this thing has to be finished. Yeah, there's many times I'll be exporting right before it starts. They play it, and nobody has watched it, so it's a work of faith.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, so it's kind of trying to find that balance, but also I think it's building teams, which kind of also helps everyone find a balance.
So your colleagues are your...
We're all each other's
friends,
anchors.
Social...
No,
that translates to...
I don't know if they hear this, they might be like...
That then translates to your life.
I think it's both outside and inside. It's like you build good relationships inside, try and build good relationships outside.
We spend so much time together, we have no other option but to...
You need to mix it up, that's the truth. Okay. Because also, one thing I love about documentaries, you have to experience the world. Okay. You can't separate yourself. It's you have to actually go meet people, actually spend time, actually know what's happening. You end up being knowledgeable in certain areas that you did not expect you were going to be knowledgeable in certain areas. Like you film in different countries, and to the moment where you're like, what? Now I actually know these things which you didn't expect, which is a beautiful thing. But at the same time, it also helps you meet people and build new relationships.
One day, future, I don't know your way forward, but I hope one day you can get time to put this somewhere. Yeah. As much as you're watching other people's lives unfold, then your own. Yes. Maybe write something We'll see. Because I can imagine.
But see, now you're doing it. See,
now I'm doing it, by the way. This is just a part of Sam Soko's life. Yes. Sam, do you have a parting shot?
I would just say keep watching our stories. Like, I would just encourage people to both, for the ones who make them, keep making them. For the ones who are trying to watch them, just keep giving us a chance.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Please mention them again.
Yeah?
Because it's parting shot. Mention the documentaries we should watch. Mention
I
them.
know.
The ones you remember, the ones you've worked on. We've mentioned Softy. We've mentioned Free Money.
Softy's Free Money. There's No Simple Way Home.
No Simple Way Home.
There's What's Eating My Mind. That's
What's
pretty
Eating
cool.
My Mind.
Yes.
There's
Leia. There's like
it's
there's
a lot.
bunch. Yeah.
Where
you can just go to our website lbxafrica.com. You'll see lbxafrica.com. You can see what we're doing, what we've done, what we're doing, where it's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And enjoy.
Thank you so much, Sam, for coming, and thank you so much for watching. Guys, this was so exciting for me. Have a good one.